There we go. All right, guys. So, welcome to the Love Lab, guys. I'm so glad to have you guys here tonight. For those that are in the room, thank you for being present. I only ask one thing: keep the post going. So, click on the live stream and do what you do, and that gives the live stream a pulse, and it lets people know that we're thriving and we're alive in here, and that there's something interesting going on. I want to make sure that you guys know that these are my two special guests tonight, and this is DJ and Dr. Tony, and we're going to give them an opportunity to talk about themselves and to also present like when they go live and some things they have going on also offline, because just not online, we got lives beyond here. But tonight we're going to be talking about single, settled, and strong, because that's the thing. And single, settled, and strong is really, for me, when I hear it, it is being about purpose. And I often hear so many people that are single, that are not content in singleness. But I know you guys, you interact with a lot of people that from different walks of life, and being able to encourage them on the journey, to let them know that singleness is a time of preparation is amazing. So the other part of this topic is that there's thriving in waiting. There is thriving and waiting, and so just really encouraging people. So I appreciate you to being here to really kick this topic off, because people need to hear positivity centered around this. And I believe in this is providing hope for so many. So thank you so much. So if you will please take time to introduce yourself, let people know a little bit about yourself, and then if you go live, share that, and then what you have going off online as well that you would love to share, please.
Me, you want me to talk about myself?
Yes.
um, well, I'm DJ, affectionately known to the people that are close to me as Pastor DJ. And it is a title, it is a calling, it is a walk of life that I am embracing wholeheartedly. With the help of you two awesome ladies, I appreciate y'all. Um, yeah, I am big on preparation, right? There's preparation that takes place in a lot of aspects. That's why when you told me about this topic, I had to jump on it. It's something that I am dealing with in my personal life. There's some things that I'm writing. There's some things that I'm sharing with people. I'm also collabing with people in this space. Me and a friend of mine, we have a podcast, Chronicles of a Black Sheep, and you both were guests, and I appreciate y'all. And y'all know I will be having y'all back. Um, yeah, that's what I got going on. I'm big on community service and just helping out in whatever aspect I can. So I appreciate the space, and I am excited for this conversation.
Awesome. Dr. Tony.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tony. I am your purpose strategist, which I love. I absolutely love pushing people to their purpose. I absolutely love this topic, Doc DJ. I am working on Successfully Single, and that is an event that's going to take place. I don't go live too much. I do things offline. But we're gonna be doing some things on there, but I do things offline. Again, I am a purpose strategist working on Successfully Single. It's going to be a live event where we talk about being successful in our singleness, and so I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about being here. I am an author. I am a politician. I am a mom, a grandma, and I'm successfully single.
I love that. This is busy. These are two busy people. Two busy people.
I'm an elder in the
An
Lord.
elder.
Yeah, like I said, that's pretty important.
That is very
My
important.
foundation.
That is so very important. Thank you guys so much. If you guys are not following them already, make sure that you click on their names and click on their bio and definitely follow them. It is definitely worth it. You will not be disappointed by their content and the engagement, and then also watching them on other platforms as well. So follow them around. I want to jump in, guys, and we're going to jump into segment one. And so segment one tonight is going to be about contentment. And that's a big thing. Finding peace without settling. That is so huge. And so the focus right now is shifting from longing to living. A lot of people are in a place to where they're so focused on the relationship and they desire this relationship and they long for that companion, that person to be in their life. But they're not embracing their singleness. They're not embracing this time of preparation and purpose. So I want you guys to speak on the difference between being alone and being lonely. What is your perspective?
DJ?
Okay, I'll go
Ladies
first.
first. Listen, I said
Go ahead,
ladies
Dr.
first.
Tony.
She should
Okay, okay.
She called my name.
She did.
The difference between being alone and being lonely. Being lonely is a state of mind, right? You can be with a group of people and still be lonely. You can be in a crowded room and still be lonely. When you are alone, I'm just by myself right now, and I'm okay with it. But that mentality of being lonely, when you're in that state of mind, there's you got to deal with that. Marriage is not going to fix that. A boo thing is not going to fix that. Another job is not going to fix that. There is nothing that's going to fix that. The only thing that's going to fix that is for you to change your mentality. That's the only thing that's going to fix that. So that's the difference to me.
Nice.
I agreed. I agree 100%. I love that she mentioned the state of mind aspect, right? Because also, so when you think about loneliness, right, it's the pain associated with being alone, right? Loneliness, it's that pain that we create in our minds associated with being alone. But on the flip side of that, if you can embrace being alone, then there's the solitude is what that is. It's a peace associated with it. If our minds can be content with ourselves with being alone, then we're in a place of solitude. There's a place of loneliness. So it doesn't always have to be painful. It one of the key major parts that I realize in that space is based off of who we surround ourselves with, right? Because a lot of times that feeling of loneliness is because we're around people that we should not be around. We're around people that don't think like us, people that don't act like us, people that they're not on the same walk. So it can be in a room full of people, but we are still feeling lonely because we can't relate to what's going on. So you have to be mindful of that. You know, yeah. I don't want to get too long winded.
No, you're good. Listen, you're good on time. We're gonna balance it out. Don't worry about that. Just you be a part of the conversation and get comfortable in it. So I love that. I think some of the things that you guys are already speaking on, it really kind of gets us into the other point because people do need to recognize the beauty and the benefits of singleness. So I really would like for you guys to talk about like, you know, when we're talking about being single, when we're talking about being prepared, there is beauty in being single. It is not, you know, some type of condition or disease that, you know, will take you out just because you're single. There is definitely beauty and there are benefits in singleness. And so I would like for you guys to talk about that from your perspective.
Oh, real quick.
Okay.
Being alone, right? Being alone is physical. Feeling lonely is emotional. All right, I'm good. Exactly.
Okay.
Had to
It's
get
like
it out.
one last point.
Had to
You
get it
got
out.
it. Dr. Tony.
So recognizing the benefits of being of singleness, I'll be 54 in June. Yay, yay. And I said yay, yay. One of the things that, older, as you're maturing, one of the things that we deal with, is who am I? Who am I? What is my purpose? Where do I fit? Where do I belong? When you are in a place of singleness, you get the opportunity to find that out without all the other things that may complicate it or
Yes.
put some things into the pool. I get the wonderful opportunity of discovering who I am in this place called the world. I get the opportunity to give God my undivided attention and to hear Him speak to me and me move in a way that's not complicated by other factors. Today, I was like, oh, I'm not cooking. my kid's almost gone, and I'm already getting into the groove of being an empty nester. So I don't have a husband.
All right now.
She got 2 more years, and I'm doing this already. Not that I would love to be. I was going to say I would love to be cooking dinner for my husband right now, but I take that back, because if God intended for me to be married right now, I would be married right now. So
Amen.
I am in a place, and that's where I can discover Tony, where I can just do the things that I'm free to do, again, without being complicated. And I don't mean that in a negative way, because marriage is not complicated. It can be, but
It
it doesn't
can be.
when that's another story for another day. But
Mhm.
you get the opportunity to discover who you are as a person, as a
Yeah.
woman, as a man. Discover those things before you engage with somebody else. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. That's good
She's
stuff.
such a preacher lady, ain't she? She's such a preacher.
Isn't she?
She just come out all the time.
It's
Um,
so natural.
right, right.
It is.
So the thing about that question about recognizing the beauty and benefits of singleness, right? So I'm big on silencing the noise, right? The noise, the internal noise and the outside noise. But a lot of times when you have that person, that silencing the noise, it has to be placed on the back burner for a moment. Like it's not always about what's convenient for you, but what's convenient for us in that moment. And sometimes certain conversations have to be had.
Yeah.
That silencing the noise, just being like Dr. Tony was saying, having that space to just discover not just who you are physically, but who you are in Christ Jesus. Um,
Hmm.
because when you have that person, it's not there's still a, a level of discovering that I have to take, but I also have to make sure that we're discovering together, so that wedge is not brought in between. So it's a constant consideration of that other person, and not saying that
Hmm.
it's a bad thing, but sometimes we don't always think about it in the moment, so we might miss it. If
That's
that
true.
makes sense, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. But for me, it's just being able to silence the noise when I know I need to silence it in all aspects.
That makes good sense. I want you guys to speak on, because the thing is that I've gone through this singleness period, and I had to adjust to some things. I lost. I've gone through a divorce. Obviously, I've talked on that, but I also lost someone that I was engaged to, and that was a huge adjustment. I could never have anticipated that. So it's like you're in this singleness and you're trying to adjust back again. But for me, it was like I desire partnership. That's the mindset. I know I'm a wife, and I know that God is. My husband is out there. I know that He's looking for me. That kind of thing. But I want you to encourage the people on how they can nurture joy while they're still desiring partnership. How can they nurture being right where you are, while they have those desires?
One of the main things that I tell people to do is live, right?
Hmm.
Successfully single involves living life. And so to be able to nurture the joy, to me, means that for those successes, no matter how small they are, enjoy it. Just go ahead and feed that success. I don't care what it is. And we spend so much time saying, I wish I had somebody here to enjoy this moment with me. Listen, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. And yeah, that's a certain kind of feeling. But listen, don't minimize your successes because you don't have anybody to do it with you. So you
Yeah.
gotta nurture and feed those successes. I don't care how small that. Listen, if you feeling some kind of way, and your flesh is, messed up, right? Not messed up, but your flesh is, trying to wake up and you make it through that night.
Okay.
Listen,
That's a celebration.
oh,
What does it
listen,
mean when your flesh is trying to wake up? Help me understand.
you're feeling special. You're just feeling a little special.
It's special.
You're feeling special,
You know,
and you have an opportunity to deal with it. You have access to deal with it. You got a stash to deal with it, but you say, you know what? I'm gonna hold it down. I'm gonna hold it down, and then you
Yeah.
wake up. Listen, next morning, listen,
Okay.
celebrate
Good.
that. That is a
Yeah, that's
success.
huge.
Celebrate that. So,
That's huge.
I love
Okay,
it.
now.
I love it. That's good. So one of the questions that I always ask people, and this is on multi levels, but I insert it here in a major way. What's your thing, right? What is that thing that you do for you that makes you? What is your thing? If you don't have it, I encourage you to find it, to figure it out, because that thing, that whatever it is, that's gonna help you. That's gonna carry you through. That's gonna help nurture that joy, right? If you don't have anything specifically for yourself, Dr. Tony, and I'm saying this because you're always busy helping other people, then the moment you don't have that, right, that's when you might allow your flesh to wake up, if you understand what I'm saying. And that's when you
Yeah.
may, so find you a thing, find something that you do for you that makes you whatever it is, but make sure it's safe and make sure it's a healthy thing, not, you know, put that out there. Don't be saying DJ told me, because I didn't. Right? So yeah, and I ask people that, like, what do you have? What do you do that's for you? What do
Yeah,
you do
that's good
that
stuff.
makes you feel amazing? What is your thing? If you don't have one,
Yeah.
find one and
I
find
think
that
that's
joy.
a key part of the identity, crisis that so many people have, like in singleness. And to me, like when people are transitioning from one relationship or one long term relationship into something else, into another life season, it's like you need to really identify who you are in that season of life. That is a huge thing for me. So encouraging people to stop, examine what's going on in your life right now so that you really understand. And like you said, for me, I remember um, going to Groupon and
I
finding
do.
finding a lot of things like, what do I like to do? So it became, okay, let me try horseback riding again. I tried like kayaking. Like I was trying so many activities. So I'm like, I don't know what I like to do. I don't like if someone tells me, well, what restaurant you like? I don't really know that. So that self discovery, I think, in finding the things that you enjoy for yourself that you can do without anybody, that really does add to your joy. So I definitely agree with you guys on that one. So, guys, listen, if you're just making it in, you're in the background tuning in, we are talking about single, settled, and strong. It is a process of preparation, but there is definitely a season of where you can be thriving and waiting. And so, this is where we are. And so we have here Dr. Tony and DJ as our guests tonight, and they are doing an amazing job of tag teaming tonight and sharing their experience. And I know that whenever I have guests and they present, there's always people that always reach out. It's like, oh my God, Doc, all I could do is just sit and listen. And there's so many takeaways. And we really do touch the heart of people just by sharing our stories. So I do appreciate you guys and your willingness to do that. I want to segue into our next segment, where we have preparation, because that is a thing. Preparation, becoming what you're praying for.
mm,
Y'all did hear me. The what? Becoming what you're praying for. So, in here, it's like we're going to focus on doing the inner work. And this is a big thing. It also ties to that self discovery aspect, that I was talking about a little bit earlier. But doing the inner work so you're ready when love show up. And this is a key thing, guys. There are so many people that will hop from one relationship to another and just do it, but never ever do the work, so that when love really shows up, that they're prepared for it. And that's a big thing for me. So I want you guys to speak on emotional healing. That's huge. Emotional healing, boundaries, and growth. How are you showing up? Because this is a critical part for the single person.
you guys both know for what, a year and a half ago, I was always saying I was emotionally unavailable. That's all I would say. I'm emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, um, I was in the process of healing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in the process of healing. And so when I was, and I hate that I was saying that, but I was being
Yeah.
sarcastic when I was saying it.
In
But
your
just
season.
right, but just speaking those words, emotionally unavailable. How can I not be? That means I'm not present.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's
That I'm
real.
just not present, not just for people, but for
Mm-hmm.
me.
For
I'm
yourself.
emotionally just shut down. That means I'm not allowing a Band-Aid to stop the bleeding. I'm just the walking, unalive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
We got to understand that, you know what? You got to take time to do what you need to do for you. You got to be present for you. And that's part of healing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and even with my like
Yeah.
triggers aren't another person's problem. That's my problem.
That's you. Gotta own it.
Let's do
Yeah.
nobody else. I can't bounce around every time somebody trigger me because people gonna trigger me because people will get on my nerves, right?
Mm-hmm.
My
Yes,
last
yes,
nerve.
yes.
And
Last
so
one.
we gotta be mindful to make sure that we are being what we're praying for, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I remember saying I had a thing about somebody who might be a little mentally challenged,
Mm-hmm.
mental health issues. And so, because my sister has mental health issues, and I just remember
Gotcha.
the torment that I went through with her.
Mm.
And so I was like, no, I just can't. I just can't. I
Yeah.
just can't. And Lord Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
would I be with anybody?
Yeah.
That's the pool is like this, but because we all go through seasons, we all, people,
Facts.
it happens. But hers was very extreme. And so I
Mm.
was just like, so I had those kind of things were triggers for me. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
realize, wait a minute, bring balance to the conversation, Tony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring balance
Yeah.
to the conversation. And so, yeah, you have to be present. You have to be present
I
emotionally.
love that.
You have to be.
That's
Okay.
a good discovery all by itself right there. That's a
Yeah.
very good discovery. All right, DJ, get in
I
there.
need to hear the question again.
No problem.
Yes.
So I just want you to speak on emotional healing, boundaries, and growth. And this is all about showing up. We're talking about preparation, becoming what you're praying for. So give people a little bit of aspect of emotional healing, boundaries, and growth. How you're showing up in your singleness in this season.
Okay, so I'm gonna deal with how you're showing up first, right? So the thing
Okay.
about what we have to do, especially us as believers, right, in Christ Jesus, amen. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of
Amen.
times when you're waiting, you sit still, right? But I believe you begin to plant seeds now.
Mm-hmm.
You will begin to put things in place. So when it's harvest season, there's less work that needs to be done. So
Mm-hmm.
planting seeds equate to doing the work, right? And however that looks for you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so say if communication is an issue for you, right? Plant seeds to be a better communicator. Start having conversations that force you to communicate better. Um, don't run from necessarily difficult conversations, but figure out how to have those difficult conversations without getting overwhelmed, without getting overstimulated, but without using certain language. Begin to do that footwork now. Begin to plant seeds of whatever it is that, however you want your relationship to mirror, to look. Begin to
Yeah.
plant those seeds now. Um, and I'm going to kind of touch on what Dr. Tony was touching
Okay.
on, but on the aspect of someone that may deal with, certain, mental or emotional issues. If you know you're that person, right, there's work that's going to have to be done to have. So start doing that work. Start talking to therapists to start get you a team. And when I say a team, sometimes it may take a life coach, it may take a therapist and a counselor,
Mm-hmm.
but get you a team.
Mm-hmm.
That's also planting
Mm-hmm.
seeds, right? You know, these three aspects are very important to moving forward, right? Because you find yourself stuck. And if
Yeah.
you find yourself stuck, even if you find someone, and if this person is moving forward and you're stuck, there's that wedge again, right? So don't be afraid to do the work. Sometimes it's ugly, it's not always pretty. Most of the time, it's not pretty. I can tell you from
Mm-hmm.
experience. However, it looks pretty on the other side. it's definitely worth it. So whatever it is that you are desiring in that marriage, in that relationship, right? Begin to operate. And I know it sounds cliche and it sounds easy, but when you look in the mirror and when you talk to yourself, don't have easy conversations. Even with yourself, have those tough conversations. Be truthful with yourself. Like, be honest with yourself and where you are. And when you start planting them seeds, be very, very intentional. And when I say intentional, have good intentions about what you're putting in the ground, about what you're planting.
Very
I
important.
don't want to say be intentional and just leave it there, but I'm hoping that the intentions are to have a successful, productive, healthy,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? So you want to plant seeds that's gonna nurture that. Like, you don't plant seeds because you want to harvest rotten fruit. No, you
Right.
plant seeds because
Who want to do
you want
that?
something that's gonna sustain, right?
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, and even for planting seeds, understand, be mindful of the conversations and the people that you're entertaining your singleness, because those are seeds. And sometimes that stuff can
Big
come
time.
back and bite you in the behind. Right? And I'll just set that on the table right there.
Let me say this.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
No. I want to say, I want to talk about just for a quick second about the mental health aspect of it. You know, one, I don't want anybody to be shamed about,
Yes.
having mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I talked about it from an extreme place. But what's important for me is that if you know you have some issues, or I don't even call it issues. If you know you deal with mental health struggles, take your medicine. Talk to someone like DJ said, but just be honest with yourself. Stop struggling in areas you don't have to struggle
You
in.
don't have to.
When it comes to a relationship, that's added stress. I don't care how
It
good
is.
it is. That's just
It
another.
is. It's heavy.
It's heavy because you're dealing with yourself and somebody else, their family, your family, their issues, your issues. So just be honest and be open and communicate, but make sure it's okay to take some medication. You need to take. I wish my sister would take some medication when she was younger, because it would have created a different outcome for the entire family. So you got to show up for yourself as the best version of yourself that you can be, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and make sure you do that. And then 1 second with on boundaries, we got to make sure that we respect our boundaries as well as other people's boundaries.
Yes,
And
that's
that's
big.
something that you cannot do if their boundaries go a little bit far out than what yours does, then you got to be honest and say, you know what, I just can't do that, because people will show you where their boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be honest and receive it, whether you like it or not. Either you're going to receive it or you're not going to receive it.
Exactly.
You move accordingly, but make sure you respect your own boundaries. Don't compromise your boundaries for the sake of company.
Yeah, I
Just
love
because you
that.
want to have company,
I
don't
love
mean
it.
you
Yeah.
got to
Don't do
sacrifice
it.
and compromise. No. I
Yeah.
know I can't have company at night.
Yeah.
Boundaries for me. I
Yeah.
can't have company at night. You
Mm-mm.
know what come out at night, right? Remember that song?
Right.
Remember that song?
We get a little
Come
too
out at night.
comfortable at nighttime.
My son looking at me like I'm crazy. No,
I was ready for it.
you got to make sure that you don't put yourself in compromising positions so that your boundaries are no longer respected. You got to be honest
Yeah.
with yourself about what you can and what you cannot handle. Stop taking chances that you don't know the outcome of. Stop thinking you're
That's good
stronger
stuff.
than you are, and don't think that you're as weak as you might think that you are. But be
Exactly.
honest with yourself. That's all I wanted to
Is
say.
being honest. I know that's a very good point. It's definitely required that, being honest with yourself is very, very important. So I think that kind of goes into this next prompt that we have about identifying and breaking patterns that have kept you stuck. That could be one of them. So I want you guys to talk about that. This is why I say that singleness is a time of preparation, because in there, we should be doing that self-examination. So I want you to talk about, identifying those areas and breaking patterns that tends to keep people stuck, and how you can encourage them as well, while they're preparing.
One of the things that I have been guilty of, and people might say there's nothing wrong with that, but oh God, I would give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean,
Mhm.
I went in trusting, and nothing is wrong with trusting, but I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you showing me where your boundaries are, and I'm like, and I wasn't Captain Saver,
Right.
that wasn't me. But I just had so much hope
Yeah. Yeah.
for what could be.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
problem I had was that I had hope for what could be, with whoever was in those shoes.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
so
that's
you can have
big.
hope for something, but you got to hope for the right thing with the right one. And so
Absolutely.
I was taking a chance, like,
Mm-hmm.
and we all have done it. I would,
Yeah.
perhaps this is it. It looked like it, so let me act like it's it before I
Mm-hmm.
even know if it's it.
Yeah.
And I had to break that pattern. I talked before on another show about how I know I'm a wife, and so I
Mm-hmm.
behaved like a wife and did wifely things with a person who was not my husband.
Mm. Woo.
And
That's a
because
whole
I
nother
am who I
topic.
am.
Okay.
I am who I am.
Yes.
So I'm a wife. So what does that mean? That means that, okay, this is what you want. Okay. Okay, I'm not with you no more. It's another year. Okay, so what you want? Okay. And I was a wife to people that was not my
Mm-hmm.
husband. So
Mm-hmm.
now that pattern had to be disassembled, because don't nobody deserve what my husband get.
Nobody.
No,
Nobody.
no, no,
Nobody
no.
but him.
That man? No,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
no,
That's real.
no.
That's real.
So I had to break that pattern, and I had to first identify that it was that pattern. And so
That's
I had
good
to break
stuff.
that.
That's good.
I have been guilty of a certain level of optimism, right, in people that maybe I should have
Mm-hmm.
just listened to what they were telling me instead of hoping that maybe they didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
I've been in that space as well, Dr. Tony. I'm sorry, um,
Mm-hmm.
but so I'm gonna say one of the biggest things that I am embracing, right, is being vulnerable, right? Because we get stuck in not showing our true emotions or showing certain emotions. Um, being vulnerable, it's tough. It's
Being
tough.
vulnerable is huge.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's tough when you have been in spaces to where your vulnerability has been weaponized or
Mm-hmm.
taken advantage of. Then you don't want to, but it's necessary so you won't get stuck now in that space. That's why I love what Dr. Tony just said, because if you
Mm-hmm.
think outside of that optimism in certain people, right, then you kind of know, oh, well, maybe this ain't a safe person. So
Exactly.
let me have these reservations about the level of vulnerability that I'm expressing. Um, and also for me, right, like there's certain things, and this kind of goes with it, certain conversations that just kind of make me cringe up and get all clammy, right, and shut down.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
y'all know me, but learning how to push through and have those difficult conversations,
Yeah. That's
um,
big.
this creates space for growth.
Mm-hmm.
This creates
Mm-hmm.
space, right, to
Mm-hmm.
show people's true intentions.
Mm-hmm.
When you're able to have difficult conversations on multiple levels and flow through those conversations, right, it helps for you to get unstuck. And I use that word unstuck because I have been stuck, and I'm talking about literally, physically, and emotionally in that space
Wow.
because I didn't have the confidence of the
Mm-hmm.
assurance and all those things
Mm-hmm.
that comes with
That
having
is definitely growth.
difficult
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Um,
Yeah, that's big.
and I know it's not just me, men in general,
Mm-hmm.
man, these emotions sometimes they get on us and we don't know how to
Yeah.
process through and we just get stuck. Feel your emotions, process them through. have those difficult conversations. And if you choose that woman in front of you, trust her.
Trust. You have to. I think that's a huge thing for you to say, DJ, because just people in general, I hear a lot of conversations of trust is earned. And I'm like, it can be, but you can also choose to give it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so, what decision will you make? That's on you, and that depends on your level of growth in that area. Is on how you move. Let's talk about financial, spiritual, and physical readiness as an act of love, because that's a huge thing about while we're preparing, becoming what you are preparing for.
Yeah.
And I know for myself personally, when I think about these things, for me, spiritual, like pouring into myself spiritually is key. That's always going to be foundational. But obviously, I would say physical readiness, because that is about health for me. Let's just say that. And then also financial. Listen, that's how I provide for myself in my singleness. That's how I am self-sufficient, as I like to say. So I think that these are very key points. So let's talk about these aspects. Financial, spiritual, and physical readiness as acts of self-love, how we pour into ourselves when we're single.
I dated this guy, and came in and said something that I carry with me today, and this will sum it up. He said, "Don't ask me to do something for you that you're not willing to do for yourself."
Mm.
I want
Mm.
somebody to, I want my husband to financially provide for me. Then I should be able to financially provide
You
for myself.
should. Yeah,
I
that's
want
good
my
stuff.
husband to cover me with prayer and lead, be the priest of the home. So in his absence, that's me.
Yes,
So I should
that's
be able
you.
to do that. And
Hmm.
physically, like, I want my husband to be able to, let's go, let's hit it, let's do it.
Yes,
And so I got to be doing that myself. And so
yes.
I shouldn't want somebody to do something for me that I can't do for
That you can't do for
myself.
yourself. I love that.
And we know that we would give, oh, this is a pet peeve of mine. We would give any and everything to somebody that we love.
Hmm.
We got to be willing to do that same thing for us.
We do.
We
We
have to
do.
be, don't do anything for me and not do nothing for you.
Exactly.
'Cause
Yeah.
that, no, because see, I don't think that's authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it's authentic because if you would do all of that for me, I need to see you do all of that for you because that just tells me that's just who you are.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so, it is an act of self love. It is
Yes,
an
it
act of
is.
self
It
love.
truly
And in the
is.
meantime, while he is not here, how dare I not be able to financially, spiritually, and physically be available for me?
Hmm. And be waiting for someone to be that for yourself.
No,
Yeah.
no,
That's
I ain't the H in the Captain Saver. That ain't me.
yeah. Say that ain't it.
That ain't me. And I, I can't say that word, but that
I
ain't me.
get you. We
And
follow it.
we got to make sure that, wait a minute, the Bible says that we are supposed to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. If
Yeah.
I can't, if you see someone and they don't love themselves,
Hmm.
then they're showing you their capacity to love you.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
If they're
Yeah.
not available for them, oh, it's only a matter of time.
Before they will check out on you. Yes,
Absolutely.
ma'am.
Let me see how you
Yes.
treat yourself. And then I know I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only thing I got to do is just get in the flow. Because you already
Hmm.
operating like that. So with
Yeah.
my husband, only thing he got to do is get in the flow because I'm already moving like that. Just get in
Hmm.
there. We don't have to dig for water to get into the flow. No, it's already flowing.
It's already flowing. I love it. I love it. I think in that space, to what you said, it made me think about what I always say is that we should complement, we should accent each other's life. Apart, we are whole individuals. Together, we are amazing.
Absolutely.
Together,
Absolutely.
So yeah, DJ.
Uh, I love these Dr. Tony isms, these, these doc isms. I love it.
Autism.
People, right? Fellas, ladies, in all these ingredients, find a healthy balance. Find a healthy balance. Don't be consumed
Mm-hmm.
in the financial aspect that you neglect the physical, the
Yes,
healthy aspect, right? It
absolutely.
is equally as important, right? Because if your health goes down, then what good is the financial aspect, right? Find a healthy balance, the spiritual aspect as well. Find a healthy balance. Don't be so spiritually minded that you miss her, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you miss this person that's right in front of you. Um, each of these ingredients, when you find that healthy balance, it will help you sustain not only yourself, but when she comes along, you'll be ready. And instead of trying to scatter, now you're trying to achieve these things, right? If you have that healthy balance, then you'll already be ready.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
I definitely agree with that. Listen, while y'all are in the comments, I do want to ask for you guys to reflect at a moment. I'm going to pause for a second and just put something on their mind. What's one area you're working on right now to be a better partner before the relationship? See, I
ooh,
got y'all. Y'all thought I was going to be saying something different. What's one area you're working on right now to be a better partner before the relationship? Hmm? If
Don't
you
me,
got it, you can
trust
give
people.
it.
one thing that I've been dealing with, right, is deservability.
Okay.
Deservability, in that space, and and the reason why that's important is because a lot of times, not just men and women alike, right, they think because of past mistakes, right, that they don't deserve a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Deservability. They
Mm-hmm.
think because they were not surrounded by healthy relationships, right, that they don't deserve a healthy relationships. Change that mindset. Change that thinking. Change it
Yeah.
now. You deserve it. Just because.
You're worthy and you do deserve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Thank you, Doc.
Oh,
You,
sorry. I just got caught up.
yeah,
Listen.
yeah. Preach, preacher. Uh, Observability is it's major because if you think and if you feel and if you act as if you're not deserving, then that's what you're going to attract.
Yeah.
But you are
That's good
deserving.
stuff.
Know that you are. Understand the grace that God gives you. You also have to give it to yourself across the table, and that's what I'm working on
Absolutely.
within myself.
I love that. Listen, I hear a lot of growth. Let's go. Dr. Tony.
Um, Both of you know that 2024 was a year of loss for me. My
Mm-hmm.
children's father passing, my mother passing 2 months later. I lost my election. Just a year of losses, and then I went into a space um, of of grief, which is normal and
Mm-hmm.
necessary. But I So what I'm doing right now, and I don't know, it's not necessarily for preparation, but it's for me, is I am living life and not letting life live me, which is very important.
Nice.
And because life had been living me, right,
Mm-hmm.
for a period of time.
Yeah.
It's been 10 months. It's been a year for my kid's father, my ex-husband, and it's been a
Mm-hmm.
10 months for me. And life had just been living me. And lately, I have to be intentional about being present, engaging in life, and making sure that I live life and not life live me. So I am drowning myself in my purpose because your purpose is time sensitive, people. But
Yeah.
that's a purpose
That is
strategy.
so huge. Mm-hmm.
Your purpose is time sensitive. So while I'm single, I have to show up, right? That I'm being intentional about showing up and I'm being intentional about living.
Yeah.
I'm throwing myself into my purpose. At the same time, I'm making sure I keep balance, DJ.
Yeah.
Keeping
That's
balance.
good.
And I'm not hiding myself. Sometimes we
You're not
hide
hiding.
behind things, right? We hide behind things so we won't have to feel. We hide behind things so we won't be disappointed. So we won't have to deal with the letdown. We won't have to deal with it didn't work. Listen, life happens for you, not to you. And I had to realize that. We
Yeah.
always think this happened to us, to us, to us. No, it happened
Mm-hmm. But
for
it's
you.
for
Find
your
out
good.
why. Find out why. So that's what I'm doing.
Hmm.
That's good. I love those responses. Listen, um,
She thought
guys,
she
like
had
I
us,
said,
DJ. She thought she had us.
I was like,
Day.
I'm a triple bump. Okay. I was like, y'all on it. Y'all, listen, we are talking about single, settled, and strong, thriving in the wait. This is so important about singleness. It is about being prepared, and I think this is such an important conversation because there is purpose in singleness, and how you maneuver through that space really will determine the outcomes that you achieve, in those space. So the next segment that I want to go into is actually purpose. And so with purpose, your life is bigger than a relationship.
I'm gonna just sit this one
Y'all
out.
hear me?
Yeah.
You in this thing, tag.
Okay, I'm
Tag.
here now. All right, let's go.
Listen, your life is bigger than a relationship. And so the key focus when we're speaking on this particular segment is living fully while single and understanding the assignment. This is big for me. You guys know I'm in ministry as well. And to me, people be like, Doc, if we can hear you one more time about these assignments, listen, life is a whole assignment, child. Listen, we in there. We in there. So living fully while single and understanding the assignment is exactly what it is. But purpose, your life is bigger than a relationship. So I want you guys to speak on how to walk in purpose now. Y'all gonna hear that word now is so critical. Hello. But now without waiting on a spouse. How to walk in purpose now without waiting on a spouse is so key. So give your perspective on that.
First of all, I am an assignment driven person. You gotta understand the assignment,
Yes.
right? And you
Yes.
gotta understand what your purpose is. So you can do with the purpose strategist anytime in the inbox. I'm good.
See, Dr. Tony.
So you gotta understand what your purpose is, right? And so right now, I look at this time, this space between my singleness and me being married is in the meantime. In the meantime, I have to be intentional about not perverting my assignments,
That's
right?
good.
So perverting the assignment is when you have an assignment in front of you and you choose to do what you want to do with it as opposed to operate in purpose. When you don't operate in purpose, you will pervert the assignment. There could be somebody that is sent to you for you to minister to, but because he's smelling good, and y'all know we like a good smelling man because he's smelling good,
Okay.
he's looking good, he's walking good, and
Listen,
he's talking
Lord.
good, then we end up perverting the assignment because we say this got to be God. No,
Yes.
this is your
Yes.
God assignment.
No, he just
This is
smelled
your
good.
godly
He had a good
husband.
cologne.
Listen, we get so thrown off.
We do.
We will pervert an assignment. So by the littlest
Yes.
thing, I like your shoes. Oh, I'm a shoe person. I like them shoes. What you want my number? You know, we
That
get
is so
so
funny.
distracted and we end up perverting the assignment. So we gotta make sure that in the meantime, in this period of time, that we understand the assignment.
Yeah.
We understand each and every assignment every day. God, what is it in this day I need to be focused on in this day? And so what you ought to be doing in the meantime, right? In addition to not perverting your assignment, is living. Live, people. Live. You don't know if you got 5 years or 50 years. You need to live. You need to live. I cannot stress that enough. It's imperative because don't nobody want to get married to you. And then you listen, at our age, we got some good years ahead of us, but we're getting
We
tired.
do. We do.
But we're
Say
getting
that.
tired. Listen, we're getting tired.
We could.
Ain't nobody. I'm not finna go run no marathon, okay? Not in 5 years.
Not happening.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I want to sit on the front porch. And so, do it now. Do it now. Live. Stop waiting. I remember never going on vacation because I wanted to go with my husband. Only time I went somewhere was with the doggone church. Forgive me, God. I don't mean doggone church, but I got a little resentment in there. It ain't the church fault. It's my fault. But I didn't go on any vacations because I wanted to go with my husband. I wanted to share things with my husband. I wanted to explore life with my husband. I get married and we went nowhere.
Wow.
He was deployed more than he was home.
Oh
We
my
did
goodness.
nothing. And then I get divorced. And then
Yeah. And I was like, what happened? Yeah.
and then life didn't wait on me.
Nope, not at all. It just
And
kept
so
moving.
Live your life. Live your life. Don't
Live
pervert
your
the
life.
environment.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. I love the passion, Dr. Tony. Um,
My stuff. That's my
so, Dr.
stuff.
Tony, you and I had this conversation once or twice before, right? So, one thing that I understand is it's impossible, right, to walk in your purpose if you don't know who you are, if you don't know, if you're not sure of your identity,
Mm-hmm.
right? They go hand in
Mm-hmm.
hand. Purpose and
Yeah.
identity go hand in hand. And the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of times when we're not sure of who we are, right, when these people come along, right, and we submerge ourselves in them, if something happens to where you have to part ways one way or another, then you're going to be lost.
Yeah.
You're not going to know where to go left or right because everything about you was about them because you were not sure about your identity, so you attached
Mm-hmm.
yourself to them. Um, this is why it takes so many people so long to recover
Yeah.
after certain aspects of life because there was no individuality, right? So when you're walking in your purpose, if someone asks you, who are you, right? Without talking about titles and accolades and all these things, are you able to express that? And if you're not, then figure out your identity, right? Figure out
Yeah.
who you are. Figure out who
Beyond
you
all of
are
that.
in God.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
if you ask me who I am, I'm gonna start off with I'm God's beloved. First and foremost, I am God's beloved.
That's good.
Then we can go into any other aspect that I choose to disclose. But when you begin to understand your purpose, when you are talking to our awesome, amazing purpose strategists, right?
Yes.
Figure out your identity along the way. They go hand in
Mm-hmm.
hand.
That's good stuff. All
Yeah.
right. I love that. I want you guys to also now give some reflection on and speak on ways that people can serve, lead, and influence as a single person. Because
Yeah.
that's a huge part of it. How we stand out in the forefront and how we present. Some people be so woe is me in that singleness, but when you can be in a position to where you're serving, leading, and being an influencer, that's big. So I would love for you guys to talk about that aspect.
I think that people just have to be lead and serve and influence. The way they do that is to show up and show up
Mm-hmm.
for themselves. Just show up. Be confident in who you are. You're not less than because you are a single woman. Single is whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
whole thing, right? Being
Mm-hmm.
single is a whole, whether it's a single bill, it's a dollar bill, it's a whole bill.
Period. It's whole.
Period. And so when you got to show up for you and understand that this is where you are in this place at this season in your life. So again, I say live. Are you going to show up for you? Can you show up for you? By showing up for you, you're showing somebody else who maybe, woe is me. Wait a minute, I'm
Absolutely.
missing something. But you
Mm-hmm.
got to show up and be confident in who you are. Be bold about who you are. Start loving you the way you want that
Yeah.
man to love you. Start loving you,
You'll
investing
see so.
into yourself,
Mm-hmm.
investing into your purpose, investing into your dreams. And when you start seeing, like, wait a minute, this feel real good.
Yeah.
This right here, this it right here, and then you'll be able to begin to stand out. But
That's
as
good.
long as you shrink who you are, you won't be
Mm-hmm.
that influence. Because who you
Mm-hmm.
influencing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Show up.
That's
Just show
good.
up. That's
Show
how
up for
you
you.
lead, and that's how you
Yes, sir.
serve. Show up. I don't care where it's at. If it's in the community, I don't care if it's
Mm-hmm.
at your church. Show up. Take advantage of this time.
Yeah. That's big.
Show up.
That's big. Okay.
Um, we're doing it right now, just by us
Okay.
sitting on this platform, sharing our story. Everything that Dr.
Absolutely.
Tony and I has expressed. If you notice, it's been personal. It's things that we've been through, things that we've witnessed. Keep talking, right? Talk. Even while you're on the journey, talk. Share that.
Mm-hmm.
It helps people to know that they're not alone. It
Yeah.
helps people to know that they have someone that they can reach out to and talk to. It helps when you are just talking, it also helps you. So don't ever stop talking. Don't think that people are not listening, because even if they're not responding, they're listening. And sometimes
Definitely.
it's those key moments when those words may come back.
Yeah.
Um, you keep talking, keep sharing, even while you're on your journey, even while you're learning and evolving. Talk about it. Write it down. Share your story. Don't be embarrassed. And if you make a mistake and something happens along the way, still talk about it, because then they see that how it looks when they pick themselves up and keep moving, right? So don't be embarrassed. Keep
Yeah.
moving forward. Keep talking. Go ahead, Doc. I see you.
I'm just agreeing with you because it just got me to thinking that when you said keep talking about it, because a lot of people have asked, like you've gone through a lot of things because they've witnessed some things in my life that I've gone through that would have broke them and probably took them out. And just in those spaces, it's like I'm talking about it because I understand, like we're talking about serving, leading, and influencing, where especially in our community, our black community, or BLK as they say on here, it is so big. It is so big to hear you gotta be strong. And this is something that I heard when my father passed. This is something that I heard in my 2022, like Dr. Tony was talking about her 2024. I had a 2022 about what in the world. And I was kept hearing people say, you got to be strong. But I had someone actually in my ear that is always my advocate that says, be weak. Let God be your strength. And so, that's the thing that when I'm just listening to you guys, talk about serving, leading, and the influence, it brings me to that thought. So I'm over here getting deep in thought while you guys are sharing the experience and realizing that it is through telling the story, because I understand that a lot of people are looking, seeing how I'm lifing it. Or the faith that you say that you're attached to, that so strong, how are you really using that faith? Is it really working for you? They're gonna be watching us. So this is a very critical thing, that even when we go through some of the darkest time, we can still yet influence other people's lives simply by going through it and being transparent, but then coming out of it, and still being in that place of servitude and leadership and sharing those experiences on how we got over. And we know it, nothing but the grace of God. He brought me through, So I think that was a very, very good what you guys were sharing. And I love how you definitely lined that up. So
Let
I
me,
wanted to ask you, go ahead.
let me add this. I just I just want to bring some scripture to the conversation.
Okay.
The book of Revelation said they overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony.
Word.
They
Absolutely.
overcame. And then the Bible says that I forgot the scripture I wanted to use. However, but I want to say this, the second scripture, but that first one was it. But another thing I want to say is it takes courage to be weak.
Yes. It definitely does take courage.
To be vulnerable.
It takes courage to say, you know what? It's okay that I'm weak right now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to be strong all the time. After I went through those losses, I said I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna feel whatever I feel. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I
And
feel.
let it be.
And it was gonna be okay. And
I know
if
that's
I went
right.
to one service and felt like leaving that service because I was done and didn't go to the
Mm-hmm.
second service, I was okay with that.
Yeah.
We gotta stop giving people what they want and give ourselves what we need.
Yeah. That's good. Fill our cup. Yeah.
We have to
We
do
do
that
it. We do.
because
Mm-hmm.
people on the outside, they really don't know what's going on internally,
They
right?
don't.
And
Mm-hmm.
and they may have experienced the same thing, but dog, when we lay down, we feel like ain't nobody in the world
Right.
understand. Yeah, I don't care if you lost your mama and that lost my mama on the same day. You don't know
Mm-hmm.
because that was my mama,
Right.
and your mama was
Right.
your mama. But
So we're not talking the same language.
we're not, and so you gotta be able. His strength is made perfect in weakness, so it's okay to be weak. That's
Mm-hmm.
another scripture.
Yeah.
It takes courage. It
It takes
takes
courage.
courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to be honest with yourself. And it takes courage to say, you know what, this is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay.
That's good. And it's okay. I
Um,
like that. That's
yeah. I agree with everything Dr. Tony said. Just a FYI, my year was 2023.
23 and 24. Isn't that
Look at
interesting?
that. Very interesting.
And here we are in 2025,
Right.
thriving.
Talking about it and thriving.
Talking about it.
That's the key. Definitely, I know it's so cliche when they say I don't look like what I've been through.
Mm.
And it's just the truth of the matter. It's just give me a moment. Let me feel what I'm going through, but I'm gonna be okay. And I think that's the biggest thing is that we have allowed ourselves to go through these moments in life, however that was gonna look. Feel it, go through it, and then we knew that we were going to be able to get up and be able to press on and move again. And so that's a really big part of my testimony, because there was definitely times that I was like, am I gonna be able to get up, Lord? Well, I don't know what's happening over here right now because this is heavy. But it was definitely in those moments God was like, I got you, daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I got
It's
you.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look like what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I look like what I went through, and during those
Yeah.
times I look like what I went through is because I'm going through it.
Because you're going through it.
Because I'm going through it, and I lay my tail in that bed, and I just watch
Exactly.
or whatever. But you gotta allow yourself to be. You gotta be honest with yourself and allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling in the present, because burying your feelings, it's only so much you can sweep under the rug. And
Only so much.
Only so much. It's going to have this big old, mound of stuff because you haven't dealt with it.
Yeah.
So just deal with it and be honest with yourself.
That's huge. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's a question for our panel and for those that are in the comments. What's one passion or calling you've embraced more deeply during your singleness? What's one thing you've embraced, whether it's a passion or a calling, during your singleness? What's one thing? Think about it.
This is a little different, but I'm going to say being a safe person. Being a safe person for when people reach out, when people want to talk. Even sitting here on this panel, I'm mindful that I'm sitting here with two beautiful, intelligent women, right? I'm mindful about the words that I say. Like, I want everyone in my presence to feel safe and comfortable.
Absolutely.
In any conversation and any dialogue. Even sometimes it means I have to, right? I want to be that safe person, and I am submerged. And we all know how I roll. Being that safe
stuff.
I love that about you.
Absolutely. It's a strength for sure.
One of the things that I have dived into is investing in me. You all know that I'll go to school at the drop of a hat.
My favorite career student.
I am a career student. I'm a professional student. And after my mom passed, I got out of my third doctorate program. I withdrew.
Wow.
I withdrew. But one thing that I started doing was whenever I went to school, yes, I love it, but I'm always using it for somebody else. I went to take the classes to repair credit so I can help homeless people repair their credit.
See?
I was always doing something, but it was so that I can help other people. But I started investing in me, right?
Yeah.
In me, investing in my purpose, attending things that will help me grow in my purpose. Even though my purpose is to help people discover their purpose, I started investing in me. Like, I'm taking a class for me. I'm a dreamer, and God deals with me in dreams. So I started becoming involved in a community of dreamers so we can interpret and all of that.
Yeah.
I started doing those things for
That's
me.
huge.
It would benefit other people, but that's not my motive.
Exactly.
Is to benefit
That
me.
you're solid.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I think that is awesome. That's good stuff right there. Okay, y'all, listen. Y'all, we are literally at the conclusion of the Love Lab. However, we will open it up for Q&A if there is any. Sometimes people get a little quiet because y'all have fed them. Listen, because that is a thing. I have two, quick questions I'm gonna throw out there, and definitely, we'll, kind of look and see if they have some questions for you guys. One question that I wanted to ask is what should people be doing? So this is a question that people ask. What should I be doing differently in my 30s, 40s, and 50s than I did in my 20s? So you talking to the single people, how do you encourage them? Like, how should they be moving? What should they be doing differently in their 30s, 40s, 50s plus than what they did in their 20s in this season? What would you say?
They need to value time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have to value time. And I said it in the beginning and I say it all the time. Your purpose is time sensitive. Stop thinking you got all the time in the world. And then you hear people say, well, if you don't do it, God going to get somebody else to do it. He ain't going to get somebody else to do it because they got their own purpose. It might be similar to yours. It might, favor.
Right.
But you have an assignment. There's a
Yeah.
purpose on your life. And stop thinking you got all the time in the world. Even if
Mm-hmm.
you are in your 20s, you don't know
Yeah.
if you're going to live for
You
10
don't
more
know.
days.
You don't know.
Jesus operated in his ministry for 3 years.
See. See.
For 3 years. So somebody might start at 70, right? But then
Yeah.
they got 3 years.
It's done.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So stop taking time for granted. That was my son said that for senior night, his last soccer game, and he's a senior, and they asked him what he would say to his classmates, and he said, "Stop taking time for granted." This was a
Yeah.
young boy whose father passed away the week of his junior prom,
Wow.
and he realized at such an early age, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So we got to make sure that we don't take time for granted. Whether you 20, 30, 40, or 50, don't take time for granted.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm gonna say everything, right? If you're still doing the same thing that you was doing in your 20s, we got
Come
it.
on now.
But I wanna, but to be more specific, right? I'm being serious about that though. But just to be more specific, be honest with people. Give people the space to make a logical choice. You will be surprised, right, about the choices that they make.
Mm-hmm.
And this may not be a popular answer. However, be honest with people.
Yeah.
This prevents a lot of the headaches that we deal with. It prevents a lot of the extra foolishness that goes on with the deception, right? So if you're not in a space to where you want to be in a committed relationship, express that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she can find someone that, or he can find someone that wants to, or she may feel like she don't want to be in a committed relationship as well. There you have it.
Exactly.
However,
Conversation.
be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Give people the space, the time to make a logical choice about what they agree to.
That's good. That's good. Another question that's been a big question, and I kind of consolidated, but it was just common amongst a lot of people is it wrong to not want to date at all for a while? What
No.
would you tell them about that? Is it wrong to not want to date at all? Because some people have this perspective.
There you go. You can
You
see
know, some
it was
people have
so
this perspective about dating that you need to, in your singleness, like they're like, why are you not going? Like some people are very relationship focused.
right.
But there are some people who's like, I don't want to date. I just want to chill, just want to be by myself, do my thing, try to figure some stuff out. I don't want to look at nobody else. And so that season of loneliness per se, or being alone, turns into 20 years. But, is that a thing? Is it okay for them to be, is it wrong for them to be in this season to not want to date for a while, whatever that wow it is?
I think it's wrong for them to date and they're in that season.
Okay.
I absolutely think that it's wrong for them to date knowing that that's not what they want. DJ just talked about that, being honest
Mm-hmm.
with people. And so you are listen, don't come to me, don't get in my husband's way. Okay?
Right. Please
And
don't.
that ain't what don't get in my husband's way. But it is wrong to put yourself in a position to take up space in somebody's life and you have no intentions and you know that that's what they want. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Some people have the gift of being single.
Absolutely. I have a best friend that's like that. I was like, girl, you
They
do it
have a
well.
gift of being single. And if you have that gift,
Yes.
then be single. Everybody ain't a husband. Everybody ain't a wife. Everybody don't desire that.
Absolutely.
Some
Absolutely.
people, might have, been in a relationship and have lost or whatever the case may be, or just decided, that ain't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, be true to you.
Yeah.
And don't let people put their convictions on you. And don't let people guilt you into doing what's good for them.
Ooh,
So I think it's wrong for a
That's
person
it.
to date, and that's not what
write
you
that
want.
down. I like taking notes.
That's it. I listen. You're all right with it. Sometimes them notes be the thing that you need that can
Uh-huh.
save
Right
you on some
time.
things.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I want to say, in that space, define what dating is to you. Uh, to a lot of people, it's not the act, right? Sometimes it's just as simple as the title, right? So don't stop living your life, right? But define for yourself what dating is. And if you want to stay in the house for 20 years, stay in the house for 20 years, right? But whenever you decide to come outside, you're still going to have to define it. You're still going to have
Yeah.
to figure it out. You're still going to have to acclimate, right, to putting your feet in that water. So define what dating is to you. Define it. Understand it. And if your definition of dating, you decide that you don't want to be in that space, then
Mm-hmm.
we'll make sure you have an understanding of it for yourself, and don't say that you don't want to date because of how other people view dating.
That's good stuff. That is really good.
That's for
Listen,
you.
guys. That's DJ always got his little curveball.
That's for
I
you.
love it. Listen, guys, this has been really, really a lot of great information, and I really appreciate both of you guys for being here tonight. I do want to open it up if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask them at this time while we're sitting here. Y'all know how Doc do it. I'm very conscious of people's time, and I appreciate when they come. But when I say that we're going to open it up and then we're going to close it, that's exactly what we're going to do, because we definitely have been fed here tonight, and this is great substance. If you have not done so already, make sure you are following them. Click on their names, go follow them. And definitely when you see them in some live boxes, go hang out and check and see, the conversation. One of the things that I have experienced is that they are who they are, no matter where they are. And on all the panels that they're on, they are consistent. And so I do, appreciate that about you guys. I think I started TikTok in 2022, actually. And what I've seen when I came across you has been consistent over the years that I've known you, and so I appreciate having those type of connections, which has created the bond where I feel comfortable sharing space, having these type of conversations, and know we can carry it. So definitely big thanks to you. Did you guys want to share any last things that you would like to share with the people of encouragement or anything in particular to give to them?
Well, I want to say I'm so proud of you. I'm so, 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 so
Oh, thank you.
proud of you. I really am. I really am.
I appreciate that.
And thank you for this conversation. Thank you for opening up the conversation and bringing it to the forefront, bringing it on the stage. So I think that it's an imperative. We got so many people, so many different people talking about this, about wanting a man, about wanting a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but we're having a conversation on solution.
Absolutely. That's the solution.
And I absolutely love it. Listen, I want to remind everybody that I'm having a in-person event, successfully single. And I want to tell you real quick where that came from. I
Okay.
was getting ready to tell God what I wanted. I'm getting ready to go down the line, the checklist, and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm getting ready to say, "Okay, God, this is what I want." And I'm very careful with how I pray because God responds to my prayers. He answers my prayers. So, I don't want to be praying anything out of my want and overlook my need, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, God, getting ready to go down the list. And I ended up saying, what do you want from me during this time of my singleness? I'm like, what the mess? Who's talking? Who's talking?
Why did that come out?
What do you want from me during this time of my singleness? What do you desire of me? Where would you want me to place my
Yeah.
time? What do you want
Yeah.
from me? And he said to be successfully single. And so I
Mm.
started down that journey of defining what that looks like, living what that looks like, embracing what that looks like. So now I'm ready to bring it to an in-person event.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that. And I got some other stuff going on, but look at my bio and check it out, see what's going on, and make sure if you know nothing else, if you remember nothing else from me, remember to live. Live life and don't let life live you.
That's good stuff.
That Dr. Tony is what we call leaning in, right? You leaned in and you got a response. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to encourage everybody to just be true to yourself, right? Be true to yourself, and in that space of being true to yourself, be mindful about the areas that you choose to compromise. And everybody, there's some levels of compromise, but be mindful because in that space of compromise, this is where you can possibly lose yourself, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay, but be mindful about that space. And I told Dr. Tony that I am excited about this event that she has coming up. Um,
Yeah.
when she told me about it, I got excited as if it was mine. So I celebrate her in that space and for creating that
Mm-hmm.
space just as much as I celebrate you, Doc. I
Yeah.
appreciate both of y'all more than anything, simply for being a sounding board. And we
Yeah.
both have had conversations that has impacted my life in a major way. I appreciate you allowing me the space to share just a little bit. And if you ever need any one of y'all already know. Reach out
We
to me.
know you're available.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm excited to sit back and watch both of y'all shine in y'all's element. That's all I got.
You as
Thank you.
well,
I
DJ.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Likewise. Yeah, the sentiments are exactly the same. I think that's a huge thing. Like to be able to sit back and just to see you grow and to get out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable and be okay with that. I think that's the biggest thing that I've kind of like watched you do where you used to kind of like shy away, but then it's like you pulled yourself out. And, oh, you don't want me to tell that? Okay.
A little too much. A little too much.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, he wasn't shy.
I was reserved. I was reserved.
He
DJ.
was a little reserved,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a great a great experience to just really see you blossom and to grow and to be in this season of your life. And I think that that's the a key thing for me. I definitely have been on a road of discovery, and I was talking to my cousin and her husband. They came and was helping me with my TV, and he always picking, and he said I don't understand about this whole marriage thing. And it's like he was waiting because I'm very private, first of all, so they know not to ask me questions. But he's in here. He's like, I'm gonna ask Hollie if this is. I was like, Lord, I was like, get it out, child. I mean, how can you be mad, with that man that long and then just y'all divorce? I mean, that just don't make sense because he has this mindset. I said, don't you think that I had the same mindset about marriage that it was for a lifetime, sir?
Mhm.
That I grew up with that type of exposure all around me and everything. Obviously, that would have been my heart's desire. And I sat with him and I said, but what I learned about it is that there was a season that, you know, my ex-husband and I we grew apart, and it was the what that caused us to grow apart, that because it had everything to do with losing parents, both of us. And so we're both having this experience, and we were no earthly good in that season. Like, we literally like, who are you? Who is this person? And we were empty nesting. That it was a lot going on. And so we were just like this. And so we have a great relationship now. We can talk about things, but then too, I also realized that who I was as this young, you know, wife, Hollie, is not who I am right now at 47, Hollie. And there is so much that I have learned, like you said, Dr. Tony, with the investment of self, you know, pouring into self. You know, we talked about, you know, the identity part that we need to go through and all that kind of stuff. I went through a huge stretching. And then when it made me just like pull out my hair. And it's like, oh my God, I don't like this space at all. I don't like it at all. But it was so very necessary and for my good. And so what has come out of that is there's a peace that I have, you know, right now that really put me in a place so that when I, you know, can sit in the presence of a man, I'm not sitting in the presence of him saying, oh God, I'm desiring this partnership, and that I'm still in that waiting season, knowing that either he's going to show up and pursue, right? And that is a thing. And then he's going to make sure that he does all the things a man should do in that space without me wavering, like, what is this, and trying to figure it out. It should be a natural process. And so I think I get that greater now, and I'm glad that I'm in that space and have that type of connection, because I was that figuring out stuff right there. It was just a lot for me to kind of like go through and do. But I pride myself in saying that for me, being someone who counsels, whew, and to have to counsel yourself on some things. But I am so grateful also for my tribe of people that's around me too, that holds me accountable. But ultimately, I'm the one that have to put that mirror up before myself. And it's, okay, God, it's me and you, boo. And be accountable to that. So I'm thankful for my process, and it has really grown me and really taught me some things that are just private to me. I ain't sharing them on live. But but it really has evolved me and opened my eyes to some things, and then my ears. I have the ears to listen, and then my heart, it's just at that place where I've guarded it, but it is vulnerable enough to be able to receive, and that's a big part, because I was like, am I going to be at this place again? But I'm thankful that I can be at the place. So this is good, guys. This is it.
Counsel yourself and take your own advice, because I'm gonna have me. That's why I call somebody, because I know me. I can't.
You have to do it. You have to do it.
What I had to tell myself, and probably what God told me, was that if my advice was good enough for somebody else, it was good enough for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you. It sounds good. In the moment, I don't be thinking straight.
No, but that's why you have an amazing village around you.
Yes.
People that will be honest with you and, tell you the truth and be like, nope, you are. Or nope, you right. You know?
Agreed.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, but Doc, you taught me that, and you said that, and you said, I said that? When did I say that, child? Right. That was something. Let me get that nugget back.
That wasn't for me.
And sometimes that's the thing. Like, they may have caught it, but it's definitely a thing that in that season is for you to catch it yourself. So they're going to bring it back to you. And that's a beautiful part of the process, that people really care and are invested in you, and they value what you're pouring into their life. And that even when you're going through, they can come back and pour that thing back into you as well, too. So that is huge.
I can see. Yes.
Yeah, that's huge.
This was good. I appreciate you.
Good. I'm glad. I did. I was so Pink is my what I call my super mod. She has literally been with me from the other platform and has carried on like a great support, and definitely has been pressing me, because I did another show on the other platform and got burnt out with it, because I did it for 6 months straight. I'm like, what was you thinking? But I did it for 6 months, like every Thursday. No, every Thursday, every week. But it was a lot. I have a very demanding 6'2" was there too, yes. But I have you have a demanding life, career, just things that's going on, and you're pouring in. Oh my gosh! So I wanted to be able to do it, but being in this space is a little bit different. And so just making sure that you vet your people and make sure your people that you're pulling together are good and are solid and that you are in alignment. That was the key. That's why I waited before I moved. I was like, who are the people that I'm in alignment with that I know that I can trust in this space? Because it has to be safe. Because as you can see, I wasn't really trying to do a lot of talking and give some nuggets, but I really want for the people that I bring into this space to be able to share, to communicate, and to speak, because they hear me talk all the time. They do need to hear the voices of other people impart into them. And so that's the value added. So create the space so that we all can grow. And that's the key.
Being attentive and aware.
Listen, I know
So,
what's
me and
up.
Dr. Tony, we flow well together. We can talk about
Absolutely.
we just gonna fill in where we need to fit in. So that's
I love it.
You'll be surprised.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, that's why I got drained really quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
2
I
days.
can see that.
Listen,
That's a lot.
but I was very honest because I mean I was still in office and all this other kind of stuff. My son had games, all this stuff going on, and I said, if something has to give, it could only be this.
It can only be this
I
because
didn't
everything
know-
else is important.
Yeah, I make no apologies for it because I got to show up for me, and then I have
Absolutely.
other people that I had to show up for. I got 360,000 people
See,
depending on me,
see,
so I
see.
had to I had to deal with that, and then
Yeah.
my kids,
Like you said, that's an assignment by itself, and you know what is the priority. Yes.
yeah, you
Yes.
gotta know your priorities, and you cannot pervert the assignment.
That's good stuff, y'all. I know y'all been edified.